could see things. God gave her a gift. And the gift was that she could see things. If you really study the word, she's the one that got on the rock when they were crossing over the sea and played the tambourine. She started the party. She played that tambourine, so that she was a musician. She probably wasn't a good one, but she was a musician. And so she had quality. She had great potential. She had a way about herself that she had, watch this, respect, because she was a seer. Although you have talent more better than other people, you must always respect position. Y'all, that's some good teaching. Although you might have a college degree, you must always respect position. You can't demote position because of talent. If you don't learn anything, you got to learn. Your talent may give you a ride, but your position will keep you there. You got to respect position. If you don't respect position, your talent will mess you up, because you will say, why do I need to listen to them? They don't know anything. And someone will say, they are in charge. It's good stuff. I don't care how many people you work with be murmuring about management. Management ain't changing because of what you say. In fact, if they hear you murmuring, they're going to make your job uncomfortable. Oh, I can't get no help from nobody. So you got to understand, the reason why you run around the workplace today and you roll your eyes at the boss, stays in the office, and she's on the cell phone talking to her girlfriend, and y'all out there working, and you get over it. Keep working. Do your 8 hours. Get over it, because she is the boss, and the only person that can unbossalize her is another boss over her. I got a new word. It's another boss that's over her. Don't go in there trying to sabotage and destroy the boss, because God is a God of order. He's a God of order. You're messing with the invisible God. You don't play with that invisible God. You don't want to go, listen, I don't want to go in the room and fight something I can't see. That's not a good fight, y'all. You're going in losing. Have you ever went into a room pitch dark and try to get through the room? You ain't never been in, the lights cut off. You hurt your toe. You stumble, you fall. You can't play with darkness. You can't play with an invisible God. I mean, you think you're winning because you get off of work and you want to talk about this boss that's all this and all that. But at the end of the day, who you going to come and meet again? The same boss. Get over it. Change your position. Get over it. You there to work. When they sat down at that table and told they were going to pay you so much money to do what you do, they didn't ask you, did you like everybody around you? Oh. So Marion is so... She is so anointed. She's so talented. She is so needed in that time to be able to see and speak the articles of God, And Moses, though he is gifted and talented, also, it doesn't detail that he's a seer. It doesn't detail that he's a seer. It's important that you understand that. It doesn't call him a prophet. It doesn't say that at all about Moses. And sometimes you think because you have a prophetic gift that you're more valuable than a administrative gift. I'm teaching you something. But the problem is you need administration in order for the prophetic to ride on. You got to hear me. You got a lot of prophetic people in the body of Christ, but they can't keep a church, because they have no one with administrative gifts around them. Yeah, you can preach out of a paper bag, but you can't find a bag you own. So you got to know balance. You got to know that, that because it's exciting. I'll tell you all the time, it might be exciting to be on the stage and see people prophesy and people preach and run, but that ain't no good after you get off that stage, if you ain't got nobody that know how to keep the lights on. I don't care how bad you are preaching on Facebook Live, and I don't care how bad you prophesy on Twitter and all that stuff. My question is, what is your order like? Because if you can't maintain life after preaching, then my question is, God is using you, but do he really need you? You got to hear me, because I'm going to show you something. This is what you fail to understand. God can dismiss you even if he knows he has no one else to replace you. Because God is a God of order. I'm going to prove it to you, because y'all are all deep. You think that you're in a safe place. I can tell you two examples. You can have someone that can maintain you, and you know you can't find nobody better than that man. But if you're really tired of that man's, how he respond to you, you say, listen, I'm better be by myself. And y'all getting quiet. Y'all getting quiet. Pastor Pooh put one line on the paper. I don't know what that line means. But let me give a better example. How many of you know that Satan was an incredible worshiper? Yes. The Bible says that he was one of the baddest worshipers in the world to this point, because no one can do what Satan does when it comes to worship. I mean, the Bible explains that his whole body was instrument. You know, he was incredible. He ran the whole praise and worship team in heaven. He ran the whole praise and worship team in heaven. God has not found one person that can do what Satan done to this day, but he fired them without a replacement. He fired them without a replacement, because it is better to have someone obedient than disobedient. You don't believe me? You watch me say, you can have one of the baddest ball players in the team, and somebody will trade you out because listen, it's better to get rid of the superstar to keep the team together. Yes. Wow. If you don't know order, if you don't respect order, order will kill you. Because it's enforceable. It has a force. It has an order. Was built on something, and it's built on, watch this, commitment. Commitment. So we find ourselves here. They crossed over. Here they are, and Miriam and her brother begins to talk about Moses. Let's read that. Let's start at verse 1. Let's start at once.
Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman.
Because of his choices. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, if you have someone in your life that is really doing what they're supposed to do for you in your life, for you in your life, don't judge what you don't have any business in. Stop thinking you got to get in everybody's lane because you know them. You know your boss is a good worker, but you think his marriage life ain't no good. You ain't got nothing to do with that. He didn't hire you to know about his marriage life. You got to stay out of people's lane. See, what makes you go in people's lane is simply this: jealousy. When people are all in what you doing and they ain't got nothing to do with it, they jealous. Some people don't like how you create happiness. That's the truth. Some people don't like how you create happiness because they're jealous. There's a difference when especially if they're not assigned to that responsibility. Let's take it for instance. You know, your homeboy telling you the girl ain't no good. Watch this. He's telling you the girl no good because in reality, he probably want the girl himself. Or he don't like, you got a girl and he ain't got one. So he tell you, man, she ain't no good. He tells her he ain't no good. Your mother telling you the girl ain't no good because your mother says, I'm assigned to your future. And that's a mess going into your future. So we so fickle because, you know, our feelings, you know, when expressed. So we think mama is jealous and your boy is tight. This is some good teaching, y'all. I can't get no help from no. Can I get a Catholic person to say, man, somebody from the Catholic organization relate to me? So I want you to hear me. So they're murmuring about Moses' decision. And most of the time, people will murmur about who you messing with. I've never been, you know, I've been pastoring for a long time. And that's just a great mystery, even in my church. Who pastor sin? I heard. So you heard. I heard too. It's just a great mystery. If you have any great statue and God is using you in any way, I don't care if it's in church, I don't care if you're a ball player, I don't care if you run a business. Somebody always want to know who you connecting to. Let me give you a good word. If God don't care who you talking to, then you don't worry about who I'm talking to. Long as whoever the person's, I'm not talking about me, but as long as whoever the person talking to ain't affecting their destiny. As long as they're not affecting their destiny. So if you got a child, yeah, you need to be concerned who the child gonna be concerned who you talking to. Right, because it's gonna affect his destiny. That's just true stuff. You know, I can relate to that. A mother is concerned who a child is talking to. That's why most children don't tell their mother who they're talking to, because they know the mother has a great responsibility to protect their destiny. Old as I am, I'm still sneaky about who tell my mother I'm talking to, because I know she's going to give her opinion. That's what it, because she's, come on now, because she's designed to be, she don't even have to look at it. She could be looking at the wall when the person comes and say, that ain't good. That ain't good. I don't like that one right there. And all they said was, good morning, ma'am. Come on now. Y'all remember those days? You bring somebody in the mouth and say, that one don't bring that one back no more. Don't bring them friends back no more. Don't bring them guys back no more. Say what they do. You always try to tell me who I want to be with. And mom is saying, listen, they're going to affect your destiny until you get that phone call from the school or the phone call from the prison talking about, Ma, can you come get me? Well, no. I told you not to hang with them. I told you they're going to affect your destiny. So you got to hear me, y'all. God was not concerned about what Moses chose as a wife because it did not affect his relationship with God. That's a good word. Whatever you choose, make sure it doesn't affect what you're responsible for. Y'all women are famous for loving God when you're single and leaving God when you find someone. Famous for that. So famous. Y'all experts at it. Y'all can't wait. Y'all sitting in there. I've seen it. You sitting in the hallway waiting for the service to start. It's rocking, talking about the goodness of Jesus. Can't wait till it says, soon you find Bobo. Bobo come to 2 services and disappear. And you go looking for him. Y'all know I'm telling the truth? Because you don't want to deal with anything that affects your relationship with God. God will only, listen, you love it, God, if you like it, God loves it until it affects him. If you can handle it, one man married a whore. He married a whore. Had babies for him and went back out there whoring. He went back out there chasing. God ain't arguing not one time because it didn't affect his purpose, his relationship with God. So Moses, they talking. And listen, watch this. Moses chooses this woman. God doesn't complain about this woman. Let me show you something. I'll give you some revelation. Let's read.
Whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
He married a woman out of his culture, out of what he's designed to be. I mean, what he's born to be, born out of. He married somebody different. And that's how the world goes around. That's how the world expands. It doesn't mean because someone is different, doesn't mean your relationship with them won't change them. A lot of things in my life I changed because of what I was connected to. You be out there wild, you acting crazy. You one step from I don't care. You ready to jump off the mountain of hurt me any kind of way you want, and you meet somebody that says, I like you enough to slow you down. Slow down. We could be real good friends if you just slow down. So that journey allowed me to slow down. Then you meet somebody that says, I like you enough and I want to give you knowledge. So that journey with that person talking to me gave me knowledge. If you ever deal with a true relationship, never date someone where you're always feeding them and you'll never get anything to eat. It's got to be balanced. And sometimes you feel like if you're a parent, you can get caught up in this real quick because parents are always giving. And then they look back and say, I got nothing else, no one else give me anything. Because the feeling of giving feels like the feeling of receiving because you feel good until you look in your closet and realize there's nothing else to give and no one gave you anything. So when you're a parent, you got to make sure you don't bring your parenting desire to serve into a relationship, because when you do that, then you end up giving too much to the man or to the woman, and then you realize, wow, that person is not producing anything for me because I was feeling good off of my own high. So you got to learn that. You know, you have to understand that. You know, a single person ain't having no kids. They just like, please, he can't do nothing for me. I can't do nothing for him. You know, they had that. That's the truth. They had that attitude real strong. He can't do nothing for me. I can't do nothing for him. You know, but if you ever experienced, you know, have to help someone and give to someone, that nature of giving feels so good that you end up, sometimes you look at people and say, I feel like you're being used, but they're saying I can't help it because my nature is giving. Yeah. That's a nature. Yeah. I'm a giver. My nature is giving. So even though I feel used, I can't see that person being in that place if I can help them. Okay. It's a nature. So this is what I want to show you something. Watch this. Read.
So they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also?
See, where they messed up at was because they saw something in Moses that looked like it was a shame, they start judging his relationship with God, and God, watch this, but also judging God's relationship with him. See, some of y'all want to downplay people's anointing, and God says, I don't like that. I don't like you making people think that my relationship with him is less than what it is. That God spoke because they touched the relationship between them. That's why I keep your mouth off of people's life when it comes to their relationship with God. Keep your mouth off. I don't care if you catch them butt naked. Keep your mouth off. You can't judge another person's relationship. I had people in my life that some people would never be around, but to me, I enjoyed them. You're like, why are you with him? Because my relationship is not your relationship with them. Now, you can listen. God ain't say nothing when they didn't like it. He said something when they start talking about his relationship with Moses and Moses' relationship with him, thinking that God will demote him because he picked a woman they didn't like. And a lot of people are like that. They think that God will demote you when they don't like something about you. But you know why? Because they have no power to demote you. So they try to find something with all power to make, and listen, and give the assumption that that power, the person that has the power, is now not liking them now. That's just, it's just sad how people is. I wouldn't go to that church. Why? Ain't no anointing. How you know they anointed in there? You cried. You spoke in tongues. You ran around the building. You put your child down there and threw him at the altar like we're going to make a sacrifice. You did all these things. Now all of a sudden you don't like what you saw in a person. Now that person is demoted in God's eyes. In God's eyes. And this is what they said. God does, listen, he said, God ain't only talking to Moses. God ain't only talking. It's more churches than Victory. Yes, it is. But you might need, listen, there ain't many churches that can speak to your life, though. Your life might be assigned to it. Y'all getting quiet on me now. Y'all getting quiet on me. It's like, I don't want to stay at mama's house. I don't want to live with mama. But every time I lose my house, I end up back at mama's house. Even though mama's house I'm sick of, I thank God the door open when I get in there. Hey, man, you see, you won't value home until you get put out. Because the first 3 days is vacation. You know that, right? Wherever you go, these first 3 days is vacation. The first day is you sit around and you have the right to complain about why you left. The second day is now you're trying to sort into the family that you're in. The third day, they start saying, how are we going to place you? You got to call your mother. You got to call, they start telling you what you have to do because in honesty, they're saying, we don't know if we can make this permanent. Because you don't really, listen, we came to help you, but you really don't fit us. You got a lot of children that left home and they don't fit where they are. That's some good teaching. That's somewhere else. I got to teach that somewhere else. Let's read.
And the Lord heard it.
And the Lord what?
Heard it.
Lord heard it. Moses didn't even hear it. Have you ever been around somebody? You probably wouldn't. If you ever been, you wouldn't know. But you ever been around somebody that talk about you like a dog? You don't even know they talking about you like a dog, but God hears it. Sometimes I do think that. I be thinking like, how is these people that are around me and I'm sharing my blessing in their life, and they still struggling. Then I'll be like, maybe they talking about me behind my back and God hears it. You ever try to, I get in trouble a lot, but you ever try to help a family member, and the more you try to help them, they still in the same place? You got to ask yourself, are they whispering about me? Are they, no, for real. Are they grinning in my face saying, thank you, sis, for the outfit, and then go back and tell me, she thinks she all that, and God says, I heard that. And then somebody comes 6 ladies and tell me, your sister or your cousin never could stand you. Like, wait a minute, all I did for her? It's like more you even in your spare moments, you worry about how can they come out of where they at. And God keeps telling you, you just don't know they're talking about you. I hear it. And they're not just talking about you, but they're talking about your belief. They're talking about your belief. You go to that church too much. You support that man or woman of God all the time. Every time they call you, jump. And you're like, wait a minute, are they whispering that? Are they whispering? I told my son, I said, God can't bless a curse. You can't curse yourself and then turn around and say, I'm looking for a blessing. You need to call, some of y'all need to call some of your family, even your children, because you think your children, see, sometimes it ain't your children, it's who they married to. Oh, I'm teaching better than you screaming, dog. Sometimes you need to call them and say, the reason why you struggling is because you talking about me. Stop it. No, don't call them to start a fight. But you know what I'm trying to say. And, every time you turn, you got to pay their bills. Every time the more children they make, the more you got to take care of them. You talking about, that's my mother, dude, that's my grandmother, dude. No, that's my father, that's my grandfather. No. Somebody got to say, am I in the way of God's punishment? Am I in the way of God's punishment? Because they'll train you. People will train you. Will teach you how people train you. When they know you are always in the gap, Pastor, they'll train you. This is how they'll train you. They'll never start asking you for money again. They'll just tell you the story. You will raise up for the occasion every time. Well, I don't know. They're going to lose their house. I don't know how we can. You think we can go down there and give them some money to save them so they won't lose their house? Wait a minute. Again. And God's saying, do you understand they talk about you? God hears it. Let's hear it. And the Lord hears it. Now
the man Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth.
Well, I used to thought I could be Moses, but when I got that scripture there, I said, well, that ain't me. I ain't the humblest man on the face of the earth, because I ain't got a problem saying how I feel. But what he's saying is his character,
yes,
right, is in such a way that even when he falls, or even when he makes decisions that are not right, his character is still humble. See, you got to keep in mind, this whole dialogue is about his choice. And in the natural sense, his choice was wrong to them. But Moses, even though he knew people didn't like his choice, he stayed humble. Most of y'all, when people don't like your choice, you stay rebellious. You want to fight them. Yeah, I don't want to be in the room with them. I don't want to be in the room. They talk about me. So he stayed humble. He knew the whole, I ain't going to say town, the people were talking about his choice. See, the thing about it, they knew he was talking about his choice, but what they didn't understand is, how long did he wait for it? See, sometimes people will judge you and not know how long you've been patient for it. You ever bought a car and somebody said, oh, here you go with your new car. What you doing with a car like that? You like, listen, I wanted this car 10 years ago. I had to wait on it. Now I got to fight you. But he stayed humble. He didn't walk around with his head all big and talking about, I don't care what nobody think. I don't care what nobody think. You know how y'all women do it all the time. When y'all think y'all got to go and y'all all of a sudden your hips get wider and your stroke get on. You walk like this, like that, all like you clap. What makes y'all walk different in heels than you walk in shoes? I just want to know. What makes y'all have your head up when your hair's done and your head down when your head's out? I just want to know how these things change. There's got to be something inside of you that makes you think you're more superior than you were when you didn't have it. I just wanted to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So he turns around. He says this. Moses. He says, "Listen, I want to explain to you. Number one is I'm ready to speak up for Moses because I know Moses won't speak up for himself. There's some people that you have said some mean things to, and they have not said a word about it. And God says, don't worry, I'm going to speak up for them." See, it's a difference when you have truth and you bring truth to people than it is when you have truth and you bring the truth to hurt people. There's a big difference. It's truth, but your intent was wrong. It's truth, though. He did marry something that wasn't a part of his tribe, but your attempt in exposing truth is to harm than to heal. You want to hurt. And we got to get delivered from hurting people and call it joking. We got to get delivered from that. Because a person that jokes a whole lot is a bum inside. I'm looking at, I know, don't Facebook me. I don't care. You can send me emails, send whatever you want. Trust me. Don't read them. I'm really concerned about these comedians that's fighting with each other on Facebook and stuff. I hope they're doing it as a promotion thing to get attention. I hope they really don't think tearing another person down is a way of just trying to, the Cat Williams and all that stuff. I just hope they really realize that, at the end of the day, there's people watching all this, and this is the character we're telling our children. This is the greatest lifestyle to live. When you get here, you fight. You should get to a level of success where you should have peace. It's not good to have things and still have to fight for them when you own them. You earn the right to be who you are, and someone wants to tear down the right of who you are. I'm concerned. This is just me. I know it don't cost much, and I ain't trying to get nobody's vote. I'm just concerned about this man trying to be one of the top judges in the world in the United States. He's running for the office. I'm just concerned that is it worth tearing down who he is to get that position? Like you don't want to go back to when I was in high school. Oh my God, I can't pastor no more. No, you don't want to. You don't want. And there's got to be some cunning people that will hold letters and hold stuff that you said when you were 17 years old, and here you 60-something years old now. It just, you don't even want to go back 3 weeks on me. His grace is efficient. I'm just being honest. Like, there's some stuff, that I laugh about, but I still don't want it exposed. You judging me in my maturity. You're judging me from my exploring days when I really didn't know what I was going to be. That's wrong. So, is it worth it? You get the title, but the people abused your past so bad that your descendant line, the line that has created your generational line, is now fighting what they exposed. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. If I had to go through all that to be somebody's pastor, I'd just be like John the Baptist hollering on the street corners. It wouldn't be worth it to me for someone to tear down what I did wrong, but I did it when I didn't know the value of what wrong is. It's not right. But that's another story. Let's read.
Suddenly the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, "Come out, you three."
He said, listen, suddenly the Lord says to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, says, y'all come on out. Y'all come on out. I got 10 minutes. He said, y'all come on out. Come on out. This is a strange thing. Aaron and Miriam is talking to each other. Now, if you want to, I think it's deeper than that, Ella Cheryl. I think that Aaron and Miriam was not only talking to each other, I think they were talking to the people in town. Because the revelation in that is, why at the end everybody's waiting for her to come back? That means they know why she left. You see what I'm saying? So that tells me that people that gospel doesn't keep it into a small corner. They wanted to go to the mountaintop. They wanted to spread it, like you say. And I think that God says, let me get the root. Moses, listen, I need Moses, I need Miriam, and I need Aaron. Because Aaron is your biggest mouth, your biggest ear. Aaron is the one that's going to listen to everything you say. With, he's the one letting everything go through, and when it's siphoned through him, it strengthens you. You always got somebody, you need people in your life that says, shut up. You ain't got nothing to do with that. You need to leave that alone. Let that man or that woman deal with God the way they deal with God, or deal with that the way they deal with that. Is that decision stopping you to pay your rent? No. Is that decision affecting your car note? No. Have you been sick over that decision? No. Leave that man or that woman's decision alone. If I walk over there and you eating tater chips and you ain't supposed to eat tater chips, it ain't none of my business for you to go get another bag. Go get another bag. Is it going to give me cancer? No. Is I'm going to have a heart attack? No. Is I'm going to bury you? No, 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 no. So you go ahead. You know what's right and wrong for you. Long as it ain't harming nobody else and it's only harming you, okay. You can't stop an addict from stopping drugs. You can take them from the drug house. You can run them up to the mountaintop. You can pick police and listen. You can tell all the kids, make sure Uncle Joe don't leave the house. He'll go out the back window. You can't stop him from being addicted. He's got to want to stop himself. So he says, I want all of y'all to come out. Now Moses, I can see Moses. Moses saying, wow, this is a great thing, y'all. God is calling all us to the mountaintop together. I now got my brothers and sisters going with me to see the face of God. This is incredible. And he says this, read.
To the tabernacle of meeting. So the three came out. Then the Lord came down in the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both went forward. Then he said, hear now my words. If there's a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream.
So what he's doing is saying, I'm telling you how I talk to Miriam. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you how I talk to Miriam. I want you to understand, I got a relationship with all of y'all, but y'all making me want to detail it. See, sometimes, people that never pastor think they can pastor. Okay. Sometimes people that never led a group of people to something think they can lead a nation. And sometimes God's got to remind you, because you had one good sermon, don't mean you can pastor a people. Because you had one good revival and people were slain in the spirit, and here's this man that's been there for 30, 50 years in ministry, don't think you can take their place. You got to hear me. God doesn't use everybody the same, even though, listen, God will use you for one great burst, but he'll use him for a good tempo. You got to hear me. And it's better to be steady than to do one burst. I was talking to a pastor the other day, and he said, Pastor, when I'm real tired, he said, I'll go get that thing called Power Energy. He says, I drink it, and it gives me a good burst. And I said, how it does? I said, really? He said, yeah, man. I get up, I'll be gone. I'll be ready to roll. He said, but when I sit down, it's like I'm in a coma. I fall right. I said, I don't want that. I don't want that. So when I'm fooling my body to think that it's okay when it's killing it at the same. I said, man, I don't want that. How about this? How about I stay home and get some real rest? You got to understand that most of us think that wherever position God is using us in, it's more ultimate and more powerful than the position God is using other people. It's not. It's not. I mean, it's good to be used by God, but don't start putting titles on yourself. So God turns around and tells Miriam, how much time I got left? 5 minutes? How much time I got? Huh? 10? Okay, you said 10 minutes ago. That's why I wanted to 5. Go to 3.
Verse 7. Not so with my servant Moses.
He said, but listen, let me break something down. Not so with Moses. I want to explain something to you. Since y'all been running your mouth about the man of God, or running your mouth about your boss, or running your mouth about the person I put in place. Somebody say he put in place. See, that's another thing. You think you can judge people that God put in place. Now, you understand? I understand that some churches vote you in, but there are people God put in place. God put them there, and I don't care how raggedy their life is, God put them there, and you don't touch them until he put them out. Because the Bible says he raised up one and put one down. He does not have a discussion with you. He doesn't have a meeting. God, I searched the Bible. God doesn't have church meetings. Let's read. He said, not with Moses. Go ahead.
He is faithful in all my house.
He says, he is faithful in all my house. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor. God does not live in an apartment. He has a house. That's right. He's saying, this is my family. And he's the most faithful one that I can use at this time. So I don't care if you got 1,000 people in your church. You got to thank God that he finds you faithful to lead his people. Don't get caught up in the faces of the audience. Sheep have multiple looks. Amen. But you don't get caught up in that. Let's read.
I speak with him face to face.
He says, I speak to him face to face. He's simply saying, I tell him stuff I won't tell you. I deal with him in ways I won't deal with you. What Jesus simply did with them was hurt their feelings. You ever see somebody that think they can do something better than you, go out and never get it done, and God says, that's my way of hurting your feelings. Because you really think you were better than the person I assigned to do it. You got a lot of people start churches, and to this day, the church ain't grow, and then they talking about, well, it doesn't matter about the number. Shut up. Shut up. You didn't start and thought that your number was going to be 3. If you knew your number was going to be 3, you did not, I know I'm going to get in trouble. You did not start your ministry and still thought you had to work at another job. You did not start to keep working at some other place, some other job. I know you ain't going to like that. But the truth of the matter is, you have to examine that God doesn't deal with everybody the same way. He doesn't. So you don't get mad because this person's ministry is radical, but the numbers are growing tomorrow. They ain't getting no word. Somebody told me, say, yeah, we don't. The reason why people don't like coming to our church, because I only deal with people that are prophetic. All I want is the prophetic, but people that can prophesy. That's what God called me to, for people to prophesy. Then God only got, the Bible says, God said he got thousands. Why you only got 6? Because you want to judge the method God uses towards it. Just got to look at this. Every teacher that was in those days, the scholars, were excellent speakers. Excellent. The Bible said they were so excellent, they used to wear scriptures hanging down. But Moses studied, and he drawed more. I'm telling you, he says, and I talked to him face to face. Means I get into his ear. I let him know. That's why you can't never think you can raise a child, raise your sisters and brothers better than you can raise them than the mother can. Well, my mother make me do everything because she's training you for your future. Yeah, there's a lot of things that was done on this side of the road, a total different way that I now use on this side of the road in a total different way, but the same principles. When I pastored, before I was any title, if I was a minister, if I was anything, any title I ever had, I ran a music department. I wasn't minister. I was just the person running a music department. I had no title. I found out that the methods I used in running a music department is the methods I used in running a church. Total different. But I was trained on this side for something on this side I thought I never experienced. I was experiencing and didn't even know it. Then 20, 30 years later, 15 years later, God says, yeah, but when you were having those rehearsals and the power of God will fall down in them rehearsals and people will get ministered and healed to, that was me training you for what's going on over here. The difference is you ain't got no background singers over here. It's the dream how God, that's why you should never be upset, because then if you are mad because down the road, you might come back and have to apologize. Because you be like, man, I didn't know you was helping me. One scripture said, it was good that I was afflicted. Who gets excited about being hurt? He said, it taught me something. If I never got afflicted, I would never know the value of what I got right now. Got to be careful. He says this.
Even plainly and not in dark sayings, and he sees the form of the Lord.
He said, look, I see him, I deal with him so deep, he knows how I'm shaped. Not just a physical shape. He's saying he really knows my mood. He's sensitive to me. That's what you got to understand. When a man of God or woman of God comes up and y'all shouting, praising God and everything, he comes down or she comes down and stop it. Just stop it. He say, wow, he's stopping the flow. No, he's sensitive to God. And God says too much gyrating and not enough worship. You don't see it because you in the party. See, it's like being at a party and the man says 2 o'clock, time to cut the lights off, and you mad because they cut the music off, cut the light off, and you got to go home. But in all honesty, he's saying the more you stay here, the worse your tomorrow going to be. Go home and get some sleep. Y'all got to go to work. Then you got all mad. You go home, don't want to go sleep. I'm going to party some more. Then you're supposed to be working at 9. You don't wake up to 12:30. Then you got to tell a lie. I'm in intensive care. Let's read.
Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant
he said,
Moses?
This is the thing, and this is the question. This is one of the challenges. Time is running out. One of the challenges or questions I asked you today is, why you weren't afraid to speak against them? Why you weren't afraid to murmur, to talk about your mother? Why you weren't afraid to talk about your boss? Why you weren't afraid to talk about your pastor? Why you weren't afraid to talk about your husband? Why you weren't afraid to talk about your father? Why you weren't afraid? Why you weren't afraid? Why something in you didn't say, no, don't do it? Ain't none of my concern. Oh, man, I ain't getting caught up in this mess. It's like going to a fight to fight for somebody else, and you the one get hurt. Like and while you sitting in the hospital, you saying, "Man, I wish I ain't never go." He said, "Why you weren't?" God saying, "You lost so much reverence for the order I placed in your life. You weren't afraid." God is like my mother. My mother created order in my house. The order was, Junior was in charge, right? Then my brother Robert, right? And then, we were just crumb snatchers at the bottom, right? And she would leave. She wouldn't leave us much, but when she left, that was the order. I would break the order. I would break the order by challenging my oldest brother or challenging my middle brother, Robert. And I would break it. They say, go downstairs. I ain't going downstairs. They say, Mommy say, stay on the porch. I say, you make me stay on the porch. That's ministry. It's ministry. My ministry is to irritate them. That's my ministry. God called me to it. I was sticking to it. And, I ain't doing nothing. You do nothing. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing. You make me. You put your hand, I wish you put your hand on your die today. You'll die today. Touch me, Robert. Touch me with your soft voice, sound like Michael Jackson. Touch me. Tony, come on now. With my, listen. But when my mother came in, she said, I broke the order. And she broke me. She didn't see it. But when she knew about it, I would lay in my bed, sleeping. She come in 9 o'clock from church service. I'm in bed sleeping. She said, how'd things go? They said, I told him to come in the house, and he wouldn't come. I'm in bed sleep. Shirley Smith would take off her hat, put down her pocketbook, pull her shoes off, grabbed the belt of her choice in the middle of the night while I'm getting ready to prepare myself to go to school. That's what I'm here for. I want an education. And she would beat me at 11 o'clock at night because I broke the order. Ain't nobody got hurt when I broke it. Ain't nobody, everything still was fine when she got home. Everything was in place when she got home. Like, they told me wash the dishes at 4. I washed the dishes 8:45 just before she got there and went straight to bed. It got washed, but I broke the border. And she tore my tail up. God is saying, you ought to know better because you know the order I placed before you. You can't praise someone and then want to curse them because you're mad. He says you know better. Let's read.
So the anger of the Lord was aroused against them. And
God got heated. That's like, listen, the more she heard about what I done, the mad she got. Simply means this. Watch this, man. Simply means this. She beat me Monday, but I had to hear it till next Monday. Because the anger got aroused. I get up in the morning, she's about, eat your food and get out of here. I should make you walk to school. Wait a minute, you just beat me for this. Well, come on, chill. You need to chill, Ma. And I tell you another thing. When you get out of school, you come straight home. And you better call me when you get there. What's going on? All I did was come in late. You beat me for it. Why you keep? Because the anger grows when disobedience is affected. I can't understand because know why? I'm no longer in that moment. Matter of fact, I want to forget about it. That's what it's like court. It's like court. It's like if you do or break something and you got to go to court, you're in trouble and you got to go to court, right? They don't give you a trial that you broke it on Monday. They don't give you a trial Tuesday. No. They give you 30 days, 40 days, and you think things are going fine. And then there it is, 2 days before court, that all that feeling you had when you got that first day comes back in your belly. And then you go to court and you sitting there sweating, and they're giving them 60 days, and they're giving them 3 years. And then they turn around and get your case and say, we're going to postpone it to another 30 days. The devil, what you trying to do? I'm going to run away. What I'm trying to say, you're not going to choose your punishment and how long it's going to be when you're disobedient. When you affect God's plan for your life and other people's life, you can't choose the penalty. You're like, man, that postponement, what that mean? I got to come back. I got to walk another 30-day chalk line. I thought it was, they say postponement. Why? Because the people that are affected ain't ready to be healed from it. He said, read.
And when the cloud disappeared from above the tabernacles, suddenly Miriam became leprous as white as snow.
Jesus.
Then Aaron turned toward Miriam, and there she was, a leper. So Aaron said to Moses, "Oh, my Lord, please."
Oh, you notice that Aaron, I'm almost done. Miriam turned white as snow. That's his punishment, leprosy, something that can't be cured but God. That's certain things. There's certain things that you have done towards people of God because their choices they made was not always right in your eyes. And God says, what I'm going to do to you can't be changed without me. I don't care if you have the baddest voice in the world. Doors will not be open because of that. I don't care if people love your sound. There are great people of God that people love them singing, but they can't get a good, clean date this year because what God said, because what you said towards the body affects me. That's important. But Aaron turns around and says this, "Oh, my Lord." Wait a minute. Moses is his brother. He is the leader of bringing the children of Israel out, right? But because Aaron sees the sincerity of the punishment, he raises up beyond his title and calls him Lord. He calls him Lord. He's saying all this is because we touched you. Please, let's get it right. Aaron was making sure there ain't no white stuff getting on him. Aaron said, "What up? Listen, my time is running out. But I'm trying to tell you this. at the end of the story, it says this, that God put her out, and Moses defended her, and God turns around and explains to Moses that I don't care how bad it is, there's got to be a penalty. Yes. There's got to be a penalty when you touch God's plan for somebody's life. Yes. Especially when you say, God told me, or God, or put God in it. I know the Lord ain't blessing that place. You better be careful using God, representing God without a license. You better be careful imitating God without a license. He says, listen, wouldn't she be embarrassed for at least 7 days? So that tells me, the Bible said that the tribe stayed there until she returned. When she returned, then they could move forward. How many know that when you are messed up and your family's messed up and somebody in the family is out of order, everybody in that house is out of order until that churchman comes back and line back up. Then we can move forward. You delayed a whole generation because of your disobedience. Come on, my time is up. Amen. What time is it? I'm out of time? 102? Oh, bye. See y'all tonight. God bless you. Amen. If y'all want to sow a seed,